When Britain abolished slavery in 1833, a monumental shift was set into motion. But what many don't realize is the hidden financial underbelly of this historic event. As part of the abolition, the British government decided to compensate slave owners for their loss of property. This compensation was not a trivial amount. It was a staggering sum that transferred a considerable amount of wealth into the hands of those already privileged. The government issued bonds to raise £20 million, an enormous amount at the time, equivalent to billions today. These funds were then distributed among slave owners, creating a legacy of inherited wealth that would shape generations to come. This financial windfall allowed many former slave owners to invest in new businesses, properties, and industries, further cementing their economic dominance. The ripple effects of this compensation can still be seen in the wealth disparities that persist today. So, while the abolition of slavery marked a significant moral victory, it also laid the groundwork for a new kind of economic inequality, one that continues to influence our world in complex and often overlooked ways. Welcome back, history enthusiasts. In this segment, we're going to dive into the political ramifications of the wealth amassed through slavery. It's not just about money. It's about power, influence, and the shaping of entire nations. Many of the families who profited from the slave trade went on to wield significant political influence in both Britain and America. These families used their newfound wealth to gain seats in Parliament, influence legislation, and shape policies that would further entrench their economic dominance. Take, for instance, the Gladstone family. John Gladstone, a prominent slave owner, used his wealth to secure his son, William Gladstone, a position in British politics. William would go on to become one of Britain's most notable prime ministers, influencing policies on banking, trade, and land ownership. The wealth generated from slavery provided the financial backing needed to support his political career. In America, the story is similar. Many influential politicians, such as Henry Laurens, who served as president of the Continental Congress, made their fortunes from the exploitation of enslaved people. Laurens used his wealth to influence policies that would benefit landowners and traders, ensuring that the economic system remained favorable to those at the top. The political influence of these families extended beyond their lifetimes. Their wealth funded political campaigns, supported lobbying efforts, and shaped public opinion through media ownership. The legacy of their political power is still evident today, as many of the policies they influence continue to impact our modern economic and social systems. By understanding the political influence wielded by these wealthy families, we gain a deeper insight into how the legacy of slavery has shaped our world. It's a reminder that the past is never truly behind us. It lingers in the policies and institutions that govern our lives. Thanks for tuning in. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the dark origins of some of the wealthiest families in history. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical insights. See you in the next segment. Welcome back, history enthusiasts. In this segment, we're turning our focus to the world of academia. Many of the most prestigious universities, such as Harvard, Yale, Oxford, and Cambridge, have storied histories that are often celebrated. However, these institutions also have darker chapters that are less frequently discussed. These universities benefited significantly from slave-linked donations and investments. For instance, Harvard University received substantial endowments from donors who made their fortunes through the transatlantic slave trade. These funds were used to build libraries, lecture halls, and other facilities, laying the foundation for the university's future prestige and influence. Similarly, Yale University also profited from the wealth generated by slavery. Some of its early benefactors were deeply involved in the slave trade, and their donations helped to establish Yale as a leading institution of higher learning. These financial contributions were often used to fund scholarships, faculty positions, and research initiatives, cementing Yale's status as an academic powerhouse. Across the Atlantic, Oxford and Cambridge universities were not immune to this dark legacy. Both institutions received donations from wealthy individuals who had profited from slavery. These funds were used to expand their campuses, support academic programs, and enhance their reputations as world-leading universities. The legacy of these donations is still visible today, as many of the buildings and endowments that were funded by slave-linked wealth continue to play a central role in these institutions. It's a stark reminder that the benefits of slavery extended far beyond the plantations and into the very heart of our educational systems. Understanding this history is crucial for a complete picture of how deeply entrenched the legacy of slavery is in our society. It's a call to critically examine not just the origins of wealth, but also the moral implications of how that wealth has been used. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical insights. See you next time, as we continue to uncover the hidden histories that have shaped our world. Hey there, history buffs. Welcome back to another deep dive into the past. Today, we're going to uncover some unsettling truths about how some of the wealthiest families in history built their fortunes. Today, we're diving into a dark chapter of history, how slavery built millionaire fortunes. This isn't just a story of wealth, but a story of human suffering and exploitation that has left a lasting legacy. Many of the first millionaires in Europe and the Americas amassed their wealth through the transatlantic slave trade. These grand mansions and historical buildings we admire today were often funded by the blood, sweat, and tears of enslaved people from African countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and Angola. Let's explore some key figures who played significant roles in this dark history. Their stories are a stark reminder of the human cost behind immense wealth. First up, William Beckford. Known as the richest commoner in England, Beckford inherited vast sugar plantations in Jamaica, worked by thousands of enslaved Africans. His wealth was staggering, but it came at an unimaginable human cost, tearing families apart and devastating communities. His fortune financed British politics and industry, influencing decisions that would shape the future of the British Empire. Beckford's wealth allowed him to live a life of luxury, but it was built on the backs of those who had no freedom. Then there's the Pinney family. Their story is another example of how deeply intertwined the slave trade was with the fortunes of the wealthy. John Pinney made his fortune from sugar plantations in the Caribbean. These plantations were notorious for their brutal conditions, where enslaved Africans were forced to work long hours under the scorching sun. Owning enslaved Africans, he invested in British banking and manufacturing. The profits from these investments further fueled the Industrial Revolution, creating a cycle of wealth that continued to grow. His family business later became NatWest Bank, a name that still holds significant influence in the financial world today. The legacy of slavery is embedded in the very foundations of these institutions. The Barclays family founded Barclays Bank, one of the world's largest banks today. Their involvement in the slave trade is a dark chapter in their history that is often overlooked. They were heavily involved in financing the slave trade and profited from plantations in the Caribbean. The wealth generated from these activities helped establish Barclays as a financial powerhouse. David and Alexander Barclay, co-founders of Barclays Bank, initially gained wealth from financing slave traders and plantations, despite later opposing slavery. Their story is a complex one, reflecting the contradictions of the time. Thomas Leyland, a merchant and banker from Liverpool, funded over 69 slave voyages. Each voyage represented a journey of immense suffering for the enslaved Africans who were forcibly transported across the Atlantic. He became one of the city's richest men and even served as mayor. His wealth and influence were built on the exploitation of human lives, a fact that casts a long shadow over his legacy. Richard Oswald of Scotland owned Banks Island, a major slave trading fort off Sierra Leone, supplying enslaved Africans to plantations. The fort was a hub of human misery, where countless lives were torn apart. His wealth went into British land, banking, and politics. The profits from the slave trade permeated every level of society, influencing decisions and shaping the future of the nation. In early America, James DeWolf from Rhode Island was a prominent slave trader. His activities were not just limited to the legal trade. He continued to engage in the illegal slave trade even after it was banned. Even after the trade was banned, he continued illegally, investing in banks, railroads, and factories. His wealth helped fuel the growth of early American industry, leaving a legacy that is still felt today. Robert Milligan, a Scottish merchant, built his fortune in Jamaica's sugar trade and was instrumental in constructing London's West India Docks. These docks became a crucial part of the British economy, facilitating trade and commerce. Simon Fraser, a Highland aristocrat, invested in Caribbean slave plantations, funding British military campaigns. His wealth was used to support the British military, further entrenching the power and influence of the British Empire. The Rothschild family, while not directly involved in slavery, financed loans for connected industries. Their financial empire was built on a network of investments that included industries benefiting from the slave trade. These fortunes, built on the backs of enslaved people, still influence modern banks, businesses, and institutions today. The legacy of slavery is woven into the fabric of our financial systems, a fact that cannot be ignored. Remember, history isn't just about the past, it shapes the present and the future. The stories of these wealthy families remind us of the human cost of their fortunes and the lasting impact of their actions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical insights. See you next time. Let's continue to learn from the past to build a better future.